Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time we have YCS Philly Finals. This was only a written feature match. They did not do live coverage for this event, so I figured I would go ahead and turn the written feature match into a DB replay, so that way people can watch it instead of having to read. And we have Denis on this side versus Calvin. It was Calvin Tahan versus Denis, sorry, I forget his last name, Nadas. I'm very bad with names, but it was them in the finals. Oh yeah, it's right here. Yep. But okay, let's go ahead and start. So we are going to see Denis win the rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and they will elect to go second. They know that it's a Kashmir, so like, you just want to go second in the Kashmir. There's no advantage to going first. And then here I have to fix the hands, because obviously, the DB random hand isn't going to give you, like, the actual hand. I think I'm going to do this on YuGiOh Pro next time, just to make it a little bit easier. But I go ahead and I fix the hands. The person that was writing the feature match was sitting on the side of Denis, so we will always have his hand updated. While Calvin, we will only get to see what cards they actually activate. So as you can see here, we don't actually know what these three cards are, and that's why I have proxies for them. But okay, so going ahead, and we are going to see Calvin just set Theosis and pass. Now, this is a blank, right? We don't know what this card is. It would be kind of safe for us to assume that this could be like a Book of Moon or Book of Eclipse, or it is just simply a bluff. If it's like Imperm, it would be held. We draw Big Bang for turn. We're going to go main phase, activate Pot of Prosperity to go banish 6, and then look at the top 6. The only card that was written on the feature match was Unicorn. So we just go ahead, mill, grab Unicorn there, and then put the rest of the cards back to the bottom of the deck. That's still a pretty good hit. And then next we're going to go special. If they do book this, we have Rise Heart plus Theosis, so we can play through it. Unicorn effect, grab Birth, and then activate Theosis. Special summon out Fenrir. Fenrir effect, grab Scareclaw, Kashtira. And now here we're going to get rid of that back row as soon as possible. Summon Dark Armed effect to go ahead, pop Theosis, and then banish Unicorn. And then summon Scareclaw by banishing Theosis. Theosis effect, add back the Unicorn. And then activate Kashtira Rise Heart, special summon from the hand. Rise Heart effect, banish Fenrir, make him banish 3 face down. It's just 3 blanks, because we don't know what it is. Go for Shangri-La, and then activate Birth and normal Unicorn. You may wonder, what is the point of even doing that? You're committing way more to your field by doing this. But it's because we need to get Unicorn Rip to trigger the Shangri-La, so that way this can become a Rise Heart, this will become Zeus, and then, you know, I mean, Unicorn's decent, just sitting there. It's not the greatest, but we can try to rip, like, 2 Big Eye. So we rip a Big Eye there, and then Shangri-La to lock a zone, and then Shangri-La attacks, that way in XYZ battled, go into Zeus, go into a Rise Heart, and then this is supposed to leave, because the Shangri-La turn into a Rise, set Book, Big Bang, and then activate Nib. That's going to go ahead, tribute, pass over a token with 85 attack, 81 defense, and you may think like, oh, they just locked themselves into a Nib, but they can actually attack into that and then allow themselves to play if they can draw well. But they're going to go Birth effect here to summon Fenrir, and then they're going to go ahead and draw Fenrir for turn. So they're going to go battle phase, attack the token, lose life points, main phase 2, special summon Fenrir. On summon, we activate Book of Moon on that. We can only assume that the blank cards in their hand are probably maybe like another Theosis, maybe a Birth, you know, something like that. Those are the cards that you can typically brick on. Maybe a Shifter because it's the mirror match. But they're going to book, and then they set one of their blanks, and then pass turn, and then they draw Birth for turn. They're going to go main phase, activate Fenrir effect, grab Unicorn, and then we're going to go normal Unicorn, Unicorn effect, grab Theosis, overlay, go for Big Eye effect, detach, take the Fenrir, battle phase, token attack for game, and then, yep, so they're going to go ahead, and that is it for the game 1. So now, going on into the next game, I'm going to go ahead and hop into this next replay, and then boom, here we go. We're going to go ahead and post side deck. Calvin will now decide to go second. You don't want to go first. And then opening hands. Let's go ahead and fix them real quick. So Denis had Pressured Planet, Pot of Prosperity, Econ, Harpy's Feather Duster, and Scareclaw Kashtira in the opening hand. Now, you may think, why would you side in Harpy's Feather Duster if you know that you're most likely going to be going second. And that's because it still works. As long as you don't lose, you can use this to beat like books or econs that are set, and those cards are really, really strong. It also wipes birth and stuff like that. Pressured planet's also really nice to have. And then in Calvin's hand, they have Unicorn, Fenrir, Nib, and a Proxy. So they're going to go ahead, activate Pressured Planet, grab Unicorn, and then Special Summon Unicorn, effect, grab out Theosis from the deck, activate Theosis, target Unicorn, Special Fenrir effect, grab Kashtira Riseheart, and then Special Summon out Kashtira Riseheart effect, banish Birth, they banish 3 face down, just 3 blanks. Here, they did not do this play. I accidentally did it in the wrong order. So let's just pretend the whole summoning Scareclaw does not happen. Yep. The next play was activate Pot of Prosperity, and then do that. So they're going to go ahead, banish 6. It's just 6 blanks, because we don't know what they banish. And then look at the top 6, and these are actually the top 6 that they got to see. They actually, like, wrote it down this time. Crazy. The guy who has to write for the job is writing. But we're going to go ahead and see this, and it's pretty safe to assume that we're just going to go ahead and take that econ there. That card is insane in the mirror match. And then go ahead and put back the other 5 to the bottom. Now we're going to go summon Scareclaw by banishing, and then we're going to get Theosis effect to add back Birth. And then we set double econ and pass. So you can see here, we chose to not play in the Nib. We're not playing in the Talons. We're playing around econ as best as possible. If we just pretty much just make one Arise Heart pass, that plays in the econ very bad, because then we won't have anything to tribute for our econs, and also it just plays into their econ. But they're going to go ahead, draw Proxy for turn, Special Summon Unicorn effect, go grab Birth. We elect to not econ that, or Fenrir or anything. Activate Birth, normal summon Fenrir, on summon, econ tribute to take the Fenrir. Battle phase, they go Unicorn, attack Fenrir. And then here, I think maybe they forgot to say Field Spell was used, or this was just a Mega Bluff by Calvin. But we don't know what these 2 cards in hand are, so that's why. They're going to go ahead, econ, tribute, take Unicorn. And then one of the cards in hand was actually Fenrir, because next they go Special Summon Fenrir. So they were trying to crash the Unicorn and the Fenrir, so that way they could summon their own Fenrir, and then use the effect to search. But it actually worked out better this way, because instead of having to crash the Unicorn actually got stolen by Denis, which is way better for Denis here. But you may also think, why would Denis econ tribute to take, right? Because don't you want them, like, let's say they beat over Fenrir, right? Sure. Or, they don't beat over the Fenrir, but the Unicorn crash into it, they take 100, their monster goes to grave, sure. What next? They have Birth Special Summon. They also could just special summon like a Fenrir from hand, but let's say they summon Fenrir from hand. Don't you just econ tribute to take that? I don't know. Maybe you open yourself up to like getting sacked a little bit. So they decided just to do it like this. But to be honest, like if they just, if they did that play, they would then have Fenrir to out them if their opponent did have like the sack play, and then the rest of the sack play would have to also be talents to punish us. So I don't know how I feel about this play exactly, but they're gonna go Fenrir, search Scareclaw, end phase gets back Fenrir, Unicorn. I bet you Calvin is fine with it. That was like best case scenario for Calvin there. And then we go ahead and I thought we were drawing Ash for turn, but yeah, just pretend this is a blank. We're going to switch Fenrir to attack, activate Harpies, destroy Birth, activate Birth, effect, summon Scareclaw. We Harpies this, otherwise Birth's going to banish from our graveyard and out our Rise Heart and our Scareclaw. Then we're going to go Battle Phase, Unicorn, beat over Fenrir, and then Fenrir, beat over, effect to banish that, and then we're going to Fenrir, attack the Unicorn, and then Scareclaw, poke. Now this was done in a little bit of a weird order, because technically couldn't we have just gone Fenrir, attack their Fenrir, effect, banish your Fenrir face down, and then we beat over their Fenrir, and then we go Unicorn, attack your Unicorn, and then effect. But I guess maybe we just never wanted our opponent, I don't know, Because, like, they could have used Unicorn Effect there on the resolution of Fenrir. So they always had the option to Unicorn. We could have traded Unicorn Effects. But I just don't get why we never used ours. I guess we just never wanted them to have the option to then try to trade, but they could have anyways. Instead of, yeah, I don't know. That the attacking order was a little bit weird there. But it's fine. It's because whenever your Fenrir attacks, if you use the effect to banish this face down, this Fenrir is negated, so it can't use its effect to, like, banish anything. So maybe they forgot about that. Fenrir, grab Unicorn. Unicorn effect, go grab Birth. But remember, this is also a very long tournament. There are 12 rounds of Swiss, 6 rounds of Top Cut. So this is their 9th round, 2 days in a row. So, you know, they're going to have fatigue. Yeah, and the opponent's other blink was actually a unicorn. Or, yeah, the other blink was actually a unicorn, and then they drew Ash for turn. They're going to go special summon unicorn, effect, grab out Theosis, activate Theosis, and then here I have to, you know, one of the banished face downs ended up being a Fenrir, so I just had to banish a proxy. That was off the first Rise Heart, and then, you know, bring out Fenrir. They're going to go Birth effect to banish 3 face down from their graveyard, go in the Dark Armed. Battle phase, attack over Fenrir, main phase 2, summon Zeus, and then they're going to go end phase Zeus effect to wipe, and then we draw Unicorn for turn. Okay, then we're going to go special summon Unicorn, Unicorn effect to go search, grab out Theosis, and then activate Birth. In response to Birth, we activate Scareclaw, banish the special. I think this is done because otherwise Birth goes special Fenrir, and then like Fenrir can banish Scareclaw or Zeus or whatever, so they just decided to summon that now, and then they're going to go Unicorn effect, rip Big Eye, activate Theosis, chain Ash Blossom, Birth, summon Fenrir, normal summon Unicorn, overlay, make Big Eye effect, take Zeus, Fenrir, attack, effect, try to banish it face down, then we remember Scareclaw has an effect, so we actually take 200 here. So Denis did make a, you know, pretty big misplay. Otherwise you could have beat over, attacked directly, putting the opponent down to 24 life points versus them still being at 48 is a huge difference, because now, like, we can't just have one cash poke go through and win from it. And then they play around Nib by just passing turn, because their only summons this turn were Unicorn, Fenrir, and Big Eye. So they're doing what they've continued to do, play around Nib, play around talents. I don't think that's going to change. Usually when someone starts sticking to a game plan like that, they usually completely stick to it. But they also have way less cards in hand now, so it'd be more reasonable to play into Nib now, because if they drop Nib, then, you know, they'd have to crash into it. And they can't do that because there's not enough life points, so they have to summon this in defense and then Donner. But if that was the case, this Unicorn would have ripped Donner from our opponent's extra deck, and then we play into Zeus. But maybe they didn't think about all that. They draw Unicorn for turn here, and then they're going to go ahead and, yep, right here, I say it, I read something wrong and thought it was Ash in Denis's hand, but it's actually just a blank. Yep, so they weren't writing down what they were drawing. They were writing down what they were drawing sometimes, but not all the time. They were writing what Prosperity would mill sometimes, but not all the time. It was like really, really, really hard to read, which is another reason I wanted to turn this into a video. But they're gonna go ahead, summon Unicorn, effect. So just pretend this is a complete blank. They're gonna go Unicorn, grab Birth, activate Birth, and then they're gonna Birth, banish face down, Birth, effect to banish from their graveyard face down. I just have to guess what the banishes are, because that was also something that they didn't write down. Birth, summon Unicorn from banish, the only other cash that they could summon. Overlay those into Big Eye, and this is a huge Big Eye. They're going to go battle phase, Big Eye attack Fenrir. Now, do you see the misplay here? Yes, I think you do, because they could have gone Big Eye, take Fenrir. But then they would not have been able to produce a Zeus themselves, like, completely just from that. But to be fair, they could have also went like Big Eye effect. Yeah, it's a little whack here. Yeah, they're gonna get Zeus effect to attach because the Fenrir left, and because of that, we can go Zeus effect detach to wipe the field, and that is very tough for our opponent. Our top deck here is Talons, And then we're just going to go battle phase, attack. And remember, if we did not make that misplay earlier, our opponent actually just loses here. So now that our misplay was done, our opponent actually has a chance to win the game because of that. Yeah, so now we're going to go ahead, pass. This is just a blank and then talent. So if they draw like a unicorn here, I actually went through all 3 unicorn and all 3 Fenrir. So they actually don't really have a lot they could top deck. Birth would be very strong though, just because it gives them bodies every turn. But their top deck is actually just something that we don't know. But yep, it was not enough to get them there. That's all we know. So it was game. They said, well, GG's, GG's. Glad they said their GG's to each other. And then right here, Denis Nadas is the YCS Philadelphia champion. Congrats. Nice job. I've seen that person. I know they got 2nd place at YCS Chicago 2019. And I know they've topped more times. But nice. Now they're YCS champion. Maybe they already were, but now they are. Well, they won this one. That's cool. And then this was from what I was saying, because I don't even know. I said, what were those plays? Yeah, some of those plays, very questionable. Very, very, very questionable plays. I cannot lie. They were very awkward. All the way down to, like, you know, the Fenrir attacking in the Scare Claw. That was really bad, giving your opponent one more turn to have a chance of drawing something. That's a really big misplay. Econ taking their unicorn still seems weird to me. Maybe we could have just switched it to defense. Maybe there was a line to do that. I guess taking it is cool because it plays around Rise Heart better. But it does play into then, like, another Fenrir harder. Which is, you know, more probable. But maybe we could have also just let them crash and then hold our econ. And then that makes it, like, really, really hard for them to play through. Because even if they birth summon out, like, even if they go, like, special Fenrir, you could just econ, take that Fenrir, and then they go, like, what, birth summon unicorn pass. They get both their Fenrirs back. So they have the same end board, but they never got that initial Fenrir search. And they made it even harder for themselves to play because you would have had an econ set even longer. So while I do think there were a decent amount of misplays, or even like allowing the Zeus to wipe, like that's crazy that they forgot Zeus secret effect. So even though all of that happened, you know, I can't blame them too much. It was a 9 rounds, Saturday 9 rounds, Sunday, and this is the last round, so this is their 18th round in 2 days. So that can definitely be draining. And also YCS Philly was ran kind of poorly, so it took forever for rounds to go. Like, there were multiple times where the timer was at 50 minutes over in time. And it's like, we could have played a whole nother round. So the tourney was definitely ran very poorly. Very, very, very poorly, which took forever. But one good thing is we don't have to, like, wear masks anymore, so it doesn't get as hot as often. You're allowed to bring water and food into the venue, so you know, you can actually rehydrate, which is like crazy that I'm even saying that we didn't have that option for a year. You weren't allowed to drink water for 1 year straight at events. They wanted you to just croak. But yeah, and then long tourney equals start to mess up. GG's, congrats to both players for making it so far. Yeah, there was no hate on other players, by the way. They both they both made it that far. They were playing well up until that point. They had to play against good players to get to where they were. It's not like they had an easy ride. And yeah, that is going to be it for the YCS Philadelphia Finals. That's going to be the last match for this format that I'm going to be doing. I'll be doing more written feature matches like this in the future if y'all like stuff like this. Or if, we don't have actual feature matches, then I'll keep doing stuff like this. And I'll probably do it on like YuGiOh Pro, just because it's 10 times easier to set it up on there than it is on DB, because you can have your deck just like not shuffle whenever you go into it, so you can actually just speed run a finals in like 5 minutes. So I'll probably do something like that just to make it easier for y'all to watch and easier for me to do. And yeah, with all that being said, the DB Grinders signing off. Peace, have a nice day, stay safe.